Sergio Perez has switched loyalties to Ferrari, admitting that he was taken by surprise by their strong performance throughout the Australian Grand Prix weekend, which culminated in a 1-2 finish for the Scuderia. Meanwhile, Red Bull managed to secure only a few points, highlighting the unexpected turn of events for the team. All that and their driver dilemma for next year in today's video, so stay tuned. Carlos Sainz made a significant move by overtaking pole sitter Max Verstappen early in Sunday's race. However, Verstappen's retirement due to brake problems opened the door for Ferrari to secure a 1-2 finish, with Charles Leclerc supporting his teammate's performance. Perez, on the other hand, faced a challenging battle from behind after slipping from 3rd to 6th on the grid following a penalty for impeding Haas rival Nico Hülkenberg during qualifying. Despite his efforts, 5th place was the best Perez could achieve, trailing behind both McLarens in the intense race. Christian Horner, the Red Bull team principal, explained that Sergio Perez's strong pace initially on the hard tyre was hampered by an unexpected issue. Perez had picked up a tear-off strip that became lodged under his floor, affecting the car's aerodynamics in a ground effect era, where underfloor effects are crucial for generating downforce. This obstruction not only reduced downforce, but also affected Perez's confidence during the race, as stated by Horner in media discussions after the race. "We went long on the first stint," Horner said, and his actual pace when he was coming through the field on the hard tyre as he closed in on Fernando was strong and matching that of the leaders. Then literally as he's passed Fernando, he's picked up a tear-off underneath the floor, and it's got lodged in an area that's caused significant load loss. So as he's then passed Fernando, the car's not working as it should, and so then you start to see degradation on the tyre, and again at the end of the second stint, which has been unusual for our cars. After the weekend, Perez said, "We just struggled to put the car in the window. I think the first stint I was very rear limited with the tyres. We were trying to protect the front, but we overdid it. Then, going on to the second and third stint, we just degged off the front left tyre, so it wasn't ideal, unfortunately, and I think there is some work to do in that regard." When he was interrogated about Ferrari's capability of pulling away in race trim, Perez said, "Yeah, I was a bit surprised to see they were so strong. They were able to maximise their package, and it worked well for them." Perez believes that track characteristics played a role in the weekend's performance, though he remains optimistic that the RB20 will return to its peak performance at the upcoming Japanese Grand Prix, particularly around the flowing Suzuka circuit. "I think when we go to a track like this, already last year in Las Vegas, for example, Ferrari was very strong," he said. "We struggled a lot for front graining, so I guess it is a bit track dependent, so hopefully when we are back in Suzuka, we are back on top." And when asked if the Ferraris could have beaten them if Max Verstappen didn't retire early, Perez said, "Absolutely yes. Helmut Marko has dismissed Sergio Perez's assertion that Ferrari would have won the Australian Grand Prix even if Max Verstappen hadn't retired." Marko feels that the outcome of the Australian GP would have been completely different, as Verstappen was able to keep up with Sainz relatively easily. "I spoke to Max and he said that despite the problems, he kept up with Sainz's pace relatively easily," Marko told Sky Germany. With Max in the race, the outcome would have been completely different. Marko admitted that Red Bull is still uncertain about the exact cause of Verstappen's terminal brake issue. "We don't know exactly yet, but already on the lap when Sainz overtook him, the brake didn't release," he added. In addition, he got slightly sideways and Sainz overtook him as a result. As a result, the brake got completely stuck, and we are very glad that not everything caught fire. We need to evaluate the exact cause. Red Bull currently faces a unique driver dilemma within its sister team, Visa Cash App RB. The contracts of Sergio Perez, Daniel Ricciardo and Yuki Tsunoda are set to expire at the end of 2024, while promising talent Liam Lawson waits on the sidelines. Initially, Red Bull had hoped to replace Checo with Ricciardo in 2025 to create space for Lawson. However, this plan hinged on Ricciardo outperforming his teammate Tsunoda, who is in his 4th season with the team. Despite initial optimism surrounding Ricciardo's performance this season, he has been consistently outperformed by the Japanese driver. Tsunoda's impressive qualifying performance in the Australian Grand Prix has prompted Helmut Marko to reconsider his earlier statements about the two drivers. The pressure is intensifying for both Ricciardo and Tsunoda as they strive to prove their worth for potential spots in Red Bull racing. However, their early season struggles, with neither driver scoring a single point in the first 2 rounds, led Helmut Marko to criticise them as too slow on the track. Yet today's qualifying session showcased a significant shift in dynamics. Yuki Tsunoda impressed by advancing all the way to Q3, earning praise from Red Bull's motorsport advisor. Marko now acknowledges Tsunoda's underlying pace, indicating a potential turnaround in perceptions regarding the young driver's capabilities. "He made it into the top 10 again, That was an incredible achievement. He was always there without making any mistakes. Helmut Marko told Service TV, "I hope that he can now get into the points because the speed is there. That was the case in the first 2 races. That would be great because the first 5 teams are so strong that you can manage to get in there. That's an incredible achievement." Despite being considered the favourite for a dream return to Red Bull Racing, doubts are beginning to cloud Daniel Ricciardo's mind as his Formula One career appears to be on its last leg. Daniel Ricciardo encountered a formidable challenge during the qualifying session for tomorrow's race. While initially positioned in a respectable 12th place during the first qualifying session, his hopes took a hit when his lap time was invalidated for exceeding track limits, resulting in a drop to 18th place on the grid. Even before this setback, Ricciardo faced difficulties in matching the pace set by his teammate, Yuki Tsunoda, who secured an impressive 8th place on the grid. Expressing his disappointment, Ricciardo admitted to feeling puzzled by his inability to match Tsunoda's performance. Despite feeling content with his own lap, Ricciardo was surprised as to why it fell short of measuring up to Tsunoda's impressive pace. He told Autosport, "From my side, I felt like I got everything out of it, and then when I saw it still wasn't good enough, let's say, compared to Yuki. I'm still a bit puzzled because I know what those laps normally mean, so I crossed the line being like, yeah, that was a good one. Obviously the time got deleted, but the lap itself was definitely the best quali lap I've done this year." Despite his frustrations, Ricciardo expressed confidence in the overall performance of his car, particularly highlighting its braking capabilities and balance. However, he acknowledged that there were certain corners where he struggled to match the speeds achieved by his teammate. Daniel Ricciardo's journey has been widely known, with many aware of his decision to depart from Red Bull for Renault, a move that has left him reflecting on potential regrets. This Australian driver took a significant risk in his career trajectory by making this switch, and since then he has faced challenges, experiencing a noticeable decline compared to his time driving alongside Max Verstappen, where his potential was at its peak. Following his move to McLaren, Ricciardo faced a mid-season departure from the team, leaving him without a seat on the grid. Christian Horner, a staunch supporter of Ricciardo, expressed deep disappointment over his initial departure. However, with Ricciardo's unassigned status, Horner, as the team principal, extended an opportunity for him to return to the Red Bull car. Despite this chance, Ricciardo's season saw him fail to score any points, leading Helmut Marko to issue him an ultimatum. Daniel Ricciardo's time for play is at an end as he faces a critical opportunity to prove his worthiness for a spot on the team. Dr. Helmut Marko, the head of driver development at Red Bull, has set a clear deadline for Ricciardo, granting him just 2 more races to demonstrate his value to the team, as reported by NZ Herald. Should Ricciardo fail to exhibit improvement in the upcoming Grand Prix events in Japan and China, Red Bull may opt to replace him with Lawson for the Miami race and, potentially, for the remainder of the season. Ricciardo is under immense pressure with the looming possibility of Lawson replacing him. His recent dismissal from McLaren has left him in a less than desirable position, emphasising the importance of securing a spot on the grid for his career trajectory. Failing to demonstrate his capabilities could result in a demotion to a reserve driver role for either of the 2 teams. Within the Red Bull camp, there's a growing sentiment that Liam Lawson represents the most promising long-term option to pair with world champion Max Verstappen. Reports suggest that New Zealand's Liam Lawson could secure a full-time Formula One seat as early as May, with Red Bull eyeing him for a position within their subsidiary team, Racing Bulls. This move is part of Red Bull's strategy to exert pressure on Daniel Ricciardo, the current driver for Racing Bulls, as they evaluate their options for the future. Daniel Ricciardo has encountered a challenging start to the season, failing to score any points in the first 3 races. Ricciardo boasts an illustrious career in Formula One, having raced for renowned teams such as Red Bull Racing and Renault. His racing style is characterised by aggression, complemented by a charismatic personality that has endeared him to fans worldwide. Ricciardo has achieved significant success in the sport, with multiple race wins and podium finishes to his name, yet the team is eager for him to deliver more consistent performances. Scoring points in the upcoming 2 races is crucial for Daniel Ricciardo to secure his spot on the grid. This opportunity serves as his second chance at redemption, with Helmut Marko granting him just 2 races to showcase his capabilities, and only exceptional racing will suffice. Ricciardo finds himself in a challenging position, facing a make-or-break situation where proving himself is the sole pathway to retaining his seat in Racing Bulls and potentially earning another opportunity alongside Max Verstappen. Is Daniel Ricciardo still deserving of driving for Red Bull? Tell us what you think in the comments section down below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching.